So it appears that we will be getting a $600 stimulus check, or it could be even higher. Maybe it's $2,000. But whatever the case might be, on this video, we're going to talk about how you can turn that stimulus check into $1 million via investing in the stock market. We're going to assume it is a $600 stimulus check. So we'll talk about how you could potentially turn that $600 into $1 million. Now, it should be clear that this is going to be high risk, high reward. I'm not going to be talking about compound interest, the power of compound interest over time, because that would take a lot of time to turn 600 into $1 million. We're going to talk about a high risk, high reward strategy that you may use in the stock market to potentially get massive returns and turn $600 into $1 million. Now, with that being said, before we proceed any further, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smashing that like button. Turn that baby blue. It goes a long way in helping the channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. And when you ring that bell, YouTube will notify you as soon as we make more videos so that you can stay in tune with the stock market and learn how to invest in the stock market as well. Alright, so we're going to talk about a strategy that I used on this play right here, which I turned $250 into over $8,000, and I'm not done with this trade. I plan to turn that $250 into over $20,000 in just 2 years time. And if you implement this strategy just twice, you can turn 600 into 1 million. I'm going to show you the math. Now, what you're looking at right now are some long call options on GameStop, ticker symbol GME. They expire on July 16th, 2021. I bought 9 contracts with a strike price of $12. When I bought these contracts, they were selling at a premium of 27 cents. So each contract was worth $27 because each contract has 100 shares and you're paying 27 cents per share. So that's $27 in total. I bought 9 of them. That is $270 for this whole trade right now. We are up a massive 3,381.48% for a total gain right now of $8,217. And I said before that I think that there's still upside for this long call option, because if we look at the charts for GameStop, we can see that over the 5-year chart, and we're getting this momentum in this stock, the highs were $32.80. Now, do I think that GameStop can reach those levels yet again? I do, because of the reason why I got into this trade in the first place and the strategy that we're going to be talking about. So you definitely need to watch this video to the end to understand the whole strategy and how you can pick stocks like this to get massive returns. Alright, so let's talk about the math behind the trade, and then we'll dive into how to identify the next stock to implement this investing strategy too. So we're going to assume a share price of $38.20 for GameStop. I think that this is possible, and I actually think it could go higher with a short squeeze, which is also very important for this investing strategy, which we're going to dive into later in this video. So assuming a share price of $38.20, we know the strike price for these call options are at $12. So let's assume that they expire in the money and we are able to take those gains. So we're talking about $26.20 a share, 38.2 minus 12. Next, we're going to put that $600 stimulus check to work. We're going to assume that you put all $600 into this trade. So at the time, each contract was $27. With $600, you would have been able to buy 22 contracts, and then you would have a little bit of money left over to put elsewhere. Now, each contract is 100 shares and you have 22 contracts. So you have 2,200 shares, and each share netted you a profit of $26.20. So in total, your net profit from this trade would be $57,640. That corresponds to a 96x on your money. Massive returns, but we're still nowhere near $1 million. So then how are we going to turn that profit into $1 million? Well, we know that this trading strategy is high risk, high reward. So the chances of it happening back to back are unlikely. However, we don't need to hit 2 trades consecutively. If we just hit one of those like we did on GameStop, Then we can divide that money and split it up and increase our chances of getting another stock to hit like we did on GameStop. So to get to $1 million with a 96x return on your money, that means that we would have to put $10,416 to work. Now we netted $57,000 from our last trade. So if we divide that money and put it into different stocks, we can invest in 5 different stocks to try to hit again to get to $1 million. So we hit on one stock and we need to hit on another, but we are then using 5 different stocks. So we're expanding our opportunities here and we're increasing our probability to get to $1 million. So with that being said, that is the math. That is how you can turn $600 to $1 million. Next, let's talk about how we can find stocks that could potentially get you these kinds of returns. Now, probably the fundamental principle of this trade is a short squeeze. A short squeeze occurs when there is high short interest in a stock and there is news that drives the share price up. Now, when the price of a stock increases, then shorts are forced to cover because essentially they are borrowing shares and they have to give those shares back. But they need to buy those shares in order to give them back because they already sold them. A way a short works is they take a share from somebody else, they sell that share. They get $100 for this share. They put that money to work. And if the stock decreases and the short works out, then they buy that share again. So say the share is worth $50. They give it back to the person they borrowed and they net the difference. But if a stock increases, let's say they bought it at 100 and now the stock is worth $200. Well, they see that the stock has a potential to continue to increase in share price. They see that the risk is very high here, so then they cover their short position. They buy a stock at $200, they give it back to the person they borrowed, and they lost $100 in that trade. So that is how a short works. So when a stock increases in price, shorts are forced to cover and they have to buy shares in order to cover their position. And that further increases the price of the share. And that is where you get a short squeeze, which is a parabolic movement to the upside and increases the share price by a lot. So there are 2 things that you need to look for when trying to find the next short squeeze. The first thing is you need to find a stock with a high short interest. There are articles out on the web and there are also websites that list stocks with a high short interest. One website that I tend to use is highshortinterest.com. Now you want to be aware of the actual percentage of short. You want to double check these numbers because they're not updated all the time and sometimes they could be off on the website. However, the website does provide a good guide in what stocks you might want to look into. Now, if we look at the list of the top stocks that are shorted right now, we see GameStop at number 1. That is why I got into this trade. But we also see stocks like Space, Virgin Galactic, AMC, and there are a lot more stocks there. I have these kinds of positions in AMC, Space, and GameStop. Some other stocks with a high short interest that are providing great returns right now from that website is SunPower. They are up 297.02% in the last year, and Stitch Fix, which is up 170% in the last year and is definitely seeing a huge increase in share price right now and might be experiencing somewhat of a short squeeze because they had good earnings and shorts are being forced to cover on Stitch Fix. Now, finding a stock with high short interest is not the only thing you need to consider. You also need to consider if the stock is going to turn things around, have some good news, and increase its share price and force that short squeeze. You need to look for catalysts that are coming up that could potentially drive the share price up. For GameStop, it was the new console launch. I thought that that would increase the share price, it would drive some news towards the stock, and we could see a rebound and a short squeeze, and that is what is happening right now with that stock. For AMC, it was a little bit more of a reopening trade and also the possibility of movie theaters re-identifying themselves. Maybe they offer pay-per-view sports in the movie theaters along with a bar or some kind of feature that would drive audience, that would would drive attendance. Maybe they have some new technology that puts you in the movie itself, some virtual reality movie experience. Or maybe they provide a streaming services for these movies. I don't know what AMC is going to do, but they definitely have the infrastructure in place to be able to do something. Now, whether or not they do something, I have no idea, but there is a possibility here, and we could see a short squeeze. So really, you want to find stocks that are beaten up, they are cheap, they have high short interest, and you see a potential avenue for catalysts to increase the share price in the future. And your call options need to be long, they need to be out of the money by a decent amount, and you want to make them over a decent time span to allow that change to happen. Those are the 3 things that you need to look for in order to implement trades that could potentially turn your $600 into $1 million. Now, with that being said, that wraps it up for this video. If you like this video and the content that I am providing, please consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell, and smashing that like button. Turn that baby blue. Also, be aware that there is a Patreon page for this channel that provides you access to a Discord server of around 200 members right now. And also on top of that, we provide posts whenever we open up a new position or close a position in the stock market. So that way, if I find the next stock that I think has GameStop potential, you will be notified on the Patreon if you join the Patreon channel. A link is provided down below. But with that being said, I hope that you are the next future millionaire. I hope that I am also a future millionaire as well. And when we become millionaires, we will have a yacht party at Bora Bora. But anyways, guys, that's it. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. And this is We Are Investing, and together we are invincible. See ya!